Welcome to the Parent in the Know video blog, The Stress of Stepfathering, March 2015. Hello, I'm Dr. Lilladale McManus, President and CEO of Parent in the Know, where we do parenting and child social emotional assessment and reporting. And our mission is for parents to have an effective and enjoyable experience to support those ever-important positive child outcomes. Blended families are on the rise, and so is parental stress, especially for stepdads, it turns out. New research finds men are feeling a great deal of stress when stepfathering. As this type of family structure becomes increasingly common in our society, the number of parental roles for adults is also increasing. Stepparents, especially fathers, may need extra support. It is well established that women in general experience higher depression and parenting stress than men. However, the movement toward societal needs and wants of dads to be more actively involved in parenting means their psychological well-being is now on the line. Recently published research by Schaefer and Pace centered on gender differences in depression and multiple parental roles. I'd like to focus specifically on the findings related to stepfathers. Let's take a look at what they discovered. Using a very large data set that included over 3,000 fathers, the National Longitudinal Survey of Youth, depression was measured by self-report in areas such as feeling depressed, eating and sleeping problems, difficulty focusing, and having to put extra effort into getting tasks completed. The overall finding was that depression went up for dads the more parental roles they carried. There were two step-parenting scenarios in particular related to higher depression. One, dads who had a biological child and a stepchild who both lived in their home. Two, dads who had a biological child not in the home, a stepchild who was, and a new child in their home. Both were statistically significant findings, but the dads who had an added child from the new marriage or partnership had the highest depression. So why are stepdads feeling so stressed and depressed? As these researchers and others have noted, the reasons for this are complex, and we just don't know yet fully what the underlying mechanisms are, but there are a few evidence-based hypotheses. First, gender roles. There is some movement in the general population toward fathers doing more domestic chores and childcare tasks. So dads may feel more stress, A, because they are taking more direct responsibility for children, or B, they are being pressured to do so. Recent work by Shapiro on stepparents and parenting stress found that stepfathers in general felt more stressed than biological fathers, but those with more traditional or rigid views about gender roles had higher stress than stepdads whose gender role views were more flexible. And then there's role ambiguity. Dads, too, may feel torn about dividing their attention among children in these differing parent-child relationships and face more role ambiguity, which is marked by feelings of uncertainty and doubt, particularly about who they owe more fathering and attention. In general, research has found that fathers are more engaged with their biological children than their stepchildren. We might suppose some of this is simply related to biology and the drive to assure reproduction that all animals, including humans, experience. Alternatively, there is the hypothesis that bonding when the child was very young was missed, and as bonding is one of the precursors for a strong parent-child relationship, this could play a part. Of course, we are thinking creatures and can use our cognition to often overcome or change both our biologically based and experience-based behavior. However, this doesn't mean that dads could do this without experiencing psychological distress. When a new baby enters the picture, things can get even more complicated. A term being used is concrete babies. The premise is that when two families join to form a new one, having a baby who has been a half-sibling to the current children can cement the relationship. Parents in blended families are sometimes motivated to have a child together in the belief that it can counteract uncertainty in the new marriage, make the family more unified, and increase positive interaction among the step-parents and stepchildren. While there is some research supporting this, other research does not. For example, using a large sample of 1,900 parents from the National Survey of Families and Households, Stewart found that the level of involvement toward stepchildren does not increase when a new biological child enters the family. And as mentioned earlier, the work of Schaefer and Pace shows that when a new baby is added to a blended family, dads, particularly if they had a stepchild in the home but a biological child who wasn't, took a big hit to their psychological well-being. The reason all of this is so important is that longitudinal studies find that for step families to become integrated, there needs to be some level of involvement on the part of the step-parent towards stepchildren. We know, too, that parental depression and stress is connected to less warm and sensitive parenting, and in turn is related to negative outcomes for children, particularly in their social, emotional, and behavioral health. Shapiro writes that step-parents don't have cultural scripts that are well established, and this can make the negotiation of their parenting role more challenging. We may be learning that men changing their parenting attitudes and behaviors from less traditional, becoming more engaged, both psychologically and physically, combined with becoming a part of a blended family and facing complex parent-child relationships, is going to lead to the need to help support stepdads to a far greater degree than we do now as a society. This is both for men's psychological well-being and because of the powerful impact parenting has on children. Here are a few resources on supporting stepfamilies and stepparents. Support for stepdads can be found at supportforstepdads.com. The National Stepfamily Resource Center can be found at stepfamilies.info, and Blended Family Support Network at blendedfamilyfocus.com. I'd like to share the references used in this piece. Schaefer and Pace, 2015, Gender Differences in Depression Across Parental Roles, found in Social Work. Shapiro, 2014, Step-Parents and Parenting Stress, The Roles of Gender, Marital Equality, and Views About Gender Roles, found in Family Process. And Stewart, 2005, How the Birth of a Child Affects Involvement with Stepchildren, found in the Journal of Marriage and Family. And you can find the original blog post at parentintheknow.com/stress of stepfathering. I'd like to conclude with a caveat. Research studies can inform us at the general and group level. We all know of or may have personally experienced stepfathering where none of the issues discussed above applied. I take that as great encouragement that stepfathers can play an important and positive role in their stepchildren's lives, and all can experience a warm and supportive and enjoyable relationship. Parent in the Know provides mail-in parenting role and child social emotional assessment completed at home by parents as self-report. Parental role balance is one of the areas specifically measured in the research-based assessments we used. If you are interested in knowing your parenting scores in this area, along with many others included, or if you are a counselor who would like to include the assessments in your practice through us, I invite you to learn more and get started at parentintheknow.com. Thank you for taking the time to view this video blog on stepfathering and stress. I hope you found it useful and that you will share it with others. And follow us on social media as I regularly post about new and compelling parenting research.